So I'm nostalgic for the Black Eyed Peas, and some people might find that odd as their peak was only a decade ago. Their singles were definitely overplayed, overall their music wasn't very deep, and their future aesthetic is kind of dated. And though I do love their songs, as surface level as they are, what I miss most about the 00s and the early 2010s is this hope for the future, that one day we might wear LED clothing and stiff leatherwear. That one day we might all live in harmony and sing in a multiracial choir about partying it up. Some may remember Green Day, Gwen Stefani, or Britney, but I remember the Black Eyed Peas, and I don't think I'm alone in that. But if I am, please indulge me as I go through a numbered list of why the Black Eyed Peas are not only memorable, but were a beacon of hope for the second millennia. So number 1, who are the Black Eyed Peas? The Black Eyed Peas, as they were from 2003 to 2011, were a hip-hop pop electronic music group made up of 4 members. Firstly, there was the lead vocalist and piano player will.i.am, then vocalist and drummer Apple.di.am, the vocalist and DJ Taboo, and lastly the vocalist Fergie. They really hit their stride after they signed Fergie and released one of their biggest hits, Where's the Love, in 2003. Other hits include My Humps, Pump It, Let's Get It Started, I Got a Feeling, and Just Can't Get Enough. Another interesting fact is that all of the members were around 28 and 29 once they hit their stride in 2003, which is notably old for the music industry, especially today where the internet is making singing sensations out of kids still in high school. Their first 2 albums, Elephant and Monkey Business, were a mix of hip-hop and pop, which was more mainstream and marketable, and this helped them rise to fame. Before Fergie joined, the group was definitely more focused on hip-hop, and some might see them transitioning to pop as them selling out, but I think it's just smart. Their latter 2 albums, The End and The Beginning, were heavily influenced by autotune and EDM. And I think this is primarily because will.i.am was part of the 90s underground rave scene, and I think that this is the music that he was really excited to make. Their transition from hip-hop pop to EDM wasn't really embraced by critics, but it did result in a really awesome future aesthetic and some really great bops. So number 2, Afrofuturism. So the 1800s had steampunk, the 1960s had retrofuturism, and we had LED clothing and shutter shades. And though many people find that to be an unsophisticated and cringy version of the future, especially now that we're in 2020, I personally love that aesthetic. And I don't think that kind of vision, that optimistic vision for the future, would have been possible in the early part of Y2K had Obama not been elected president and had we not had this vision of hope on the horizon. The Black Eyed Peas really played into that with their auto-tune and electronic vibes and what their idea of the future would hold for us, specifically as humanity, but more specifically for Black people in the new millennium. And honestly, that was really hard to do, especially post 9/11, post Hurricane Katrina, with the continuation of the war in Iraq and the privatization of the prison system. And as silly as those outfits from the 2011 Super Bowl were, they're honestly kind of awesome. I miss the days when I felt like that could be the future instead of thinking that humanity is going to go extinct in 100 years. The Black Eyed Peas represented an optimistic future after Obama was elected, and will.i.am actually even gave Obama a shout out during their Super Bowl performance.
In America, we need to get things straight. Old power, let's get these kids educated. Create jobs so the country stays stimulated.
It was encouraging, but also kind of a call-out, especially because this was 2011 and the last year of Obama's first term, and will.i.am basically says that Obama needs to create more jobs and get kids educated. And I guess he's kind of alluding to the fact that Obama didn't do enough, which is fair. Nowadays, it's no surprise, given the current political climate in 2020, that we're not looking towards the future, we're looking towards the past, to things that happened as little as 10 years ago. Even in one of the newest Black Eyed Peas music videos, they have that retro Wes Anderson aesthetic going on. And honestly, I think a reason why a lot of people laugh or cringe at will.i.am's metal hairpiece or robotic dancing is because he's Black. And in past imaginings of the future, black people were not present. In H.G. Wells' time machine, black people were regulated to working underground and literally turned into monsters. White people ultimately think it's funny that black people can imagine themselves in their future, especially after the white supremacist government has tried to put an end to black families and their reproductive rights for centuries. With retro-futuristic shows like Star Trek, black representation in the future and in space became a little more mainstream. But even before Star Trek, musician Sun Ra wrote songs about Afrofuturism in the 50s and 60s and later wrote and starred in the 1974 film Space is the Place. Nowadays we have Janelle Monáe, Chloe and Halle, John Boyega, and more. But will.i.am, along with Kanye and Andre 3000, were bold enough at the start of Y2K to bring black people into the future and have hope and have fun. So number 3, the Black Eyed Peas' influence on music. Before I go on, I just want to say that the Black Eyed Peas lyrics weren't always deep and their singing wasn't always the best. But music doesn't have to be deep or catchy for people to like it, and just because something is in the mainstream doesn't automatically mean that it's bad. So these last 2 albums of the Black Eyed Peas' golden era, The End and The Beginning, I think really influenced the music to come in the later half of the 2010s, which is the music we have now. DJs collaborating with solo female acts who have unique voices. I think that this is best exemplified with their 2011 single Just Can't Get Enough, which stars Fergie and her very high-pitched auto-tune voice mixed with EDM beats. And maybe the Black Eyed Peas didn't influence any of this, but their last 2 albums were produced by David Guetta, and they did spawn a lot of knockoff groups that would later die out and give way to the music we have today. Coincidence? I think not. So number 4, the Black Eyed Peas knockoffs. There were many knockoff groups, but the 2 most notable ones were LMFAO, which will.i.am was affiliated with, and Far East Movement, which will.i.am was not affiliated with. Both groups were weird and kind of terrible, but for their own reasons. Firstly, LMFAO is like, what even? Red Foo was dancing for teens with an elephant trunk on his and I guess Sky Blue was just kind of there. Fun fact, Red Foo is Sky Blue's uncle and both are related to Berry Gordy. Red Foo is his son and Sky Blue is his grandson. It is kind of funny, however, that their first album was called Party Rocking and their second album was called Sorry for Party Rocking, and then they just disappeared. Far East Movement, in my opinion, was even worse because they were culturally appropriating black people, specifically will.i.am and the Black Eyed Peas. It was not good. So number 5. Are the Black Eyed Peas problematic? One thing I really like about the Black Eyed Peas that I didn't notice much as a kid is that their group is extremely racially diverse. Apple is half Filipino, and Taboo is Mexican and has Shoshone indigenous heritage, even though everybody thought he was Asian. And Fergie is just an exotic white woman, at least that's how she was marketed. But as far as I know, they didn't dip their toes into appropriation territory that much. They had other scandals, particularly Let's Get It Started in Here's original name, and the fact that will.i.am's verse in Where's the Love doesn't really hold up today. Even when he performed it at One Love Manchester to support Ariana Grande, he kind of just raced through it. So number 6, my favorite Black Eyed Peas song is Problematic. The best Black Eyed Peas song, in my opinion, is Just Can't Get Enough. Just what an amazing song. I love the auto-tuning in it specifically when Taboo says Mr. Roboto. It's just the best. I also don't mind Fergie's very, very high-pitched auto-tuning. I think overall it's just a very fun song. However, they do continue this trend of romanticizing Japan and also harmfully exotifying it as other. Both this music video for Just Can't Get Enough and Shawn Mendes' 2018 music video for Lost in Japan take heavily from Sofia Coppola's movie from 2003, Lost in Translation. The film uses Japan as a backdrop for 2 white people's self-discovery journeys. They use Japanese people and customs and lack of English knowledge to berate and exotify them. However, I don't take issue with Just Can't Get Enough because unlike Shawn Mendes' video, they barely show any Japanese people and they don't use the smallness of Japanese things to mock or make fun of them. Unfortunately, Just Can't Get Enough does have this horrible line that goes, "Love you long time." And obviously that line is extremely offensive, but if you do want to listen to an Asian American rendition of this song that takes out that offensive line, listen to Arden and Company's cover, which is linked down below. So number 7, where are they now? So the Black Eyed Peas are still together and they are still making music. Fergie left the group in 2018 and the group released their album Masters of the Sun without her. The album was more hip-hop centered and did feature a new female vocalist, J. Ray Soul, who is part Filipino and was actually born in Hong Kong. Their newest album actually came out this year, just a few months ago, and again is starring J. Ray Soul. J. Ray Soul is a welcome addition to the group as well as an excellent vocalist. Their new singles are definitely different as the Black Eyed Peas seem to be pushed to the side for their featuring acts like Ozuna or J Balvin, and some of the Black Eyed Peas members don't even get a solo, or if they do, it's very short or rushed. The album definitely has a Latin flair, which I think is interesting and cool, and honestly it's just very nice that they're still making music and still getting millions of views. And actually they are nominated for 2 VMAs this year, one for Best Collaboration and one for Best Latin Video, so if you can, please go vote for them. So the conclusion. I hope one day we do get to wear cool clothes with lights on them and sing in harmony with all races and creeds and ethnicities, but we have a lot of work to do before then. As much as we wanted that bright future to come easy, we know that it won't. And the only way to get justice and peace is through revolution. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad person for wanting to escape once in a while to 2010 and do karaoke with your friends to I Got a Feeling. One day we will have that future, we just have to keep fighting for it. So that's the end of the video. Please let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the Black Eyed Peas and what you were doing in 2010. And just so you know, next week's video will be about racism in Brazil against black people. So if you want to see that video, please like, comment, share on this video, and subscribe, of course, to my channel and ring the bell. I post new videos here every Friday, so I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.